So what are the big questions that you think our audience has in the down to the wire minutes before Christmas that we're experiencing right now? Like, what are the big issues that shoppers want us to help them navigate and ourselves navigate?
Well, I think supply chain issue, first of all, because that's a buzzword that we've been hearing for months now throughout this pandemic.
Now to the supply chain crisis, seeming to get worse each day.
I would say the biggest challenge is really the health of the supply chain.
We still have to keep working at all nodes in the supply chain.
Have we done a good enough job covering what exactly the supply chain issues are?
Well, people like saying it, but they don't really know what it means.
What
right?
is it?
It's basically the people and the things that get us what we want from point A to point B. So if you want to buy a jacket and you want to get it by, I don't know, Friday, you have to understand that that jacket is sourced in China. The material went there or is from there, and they're putting it together, they're stitching it together in China. Then it has to go through customs through Hong Kong or somewhere else, and then it has to make its way over to LA. Then it has to be transported over to New York eventually and make it into the store where you can then go pick it up.
And with the labor shortage, lots of disruption.
Monkey wrench in the works completely, because this used to be a finely calibrated dance, and now it's been completely broken. It's like, someone stuck a wrench right in the gears.
And it's been broken at a time when we're being told to spend more, and also we just want to spend more. I mean, this is the first holiday.
Pent-up demand.
Pent-up demand.
Pent-up demand in general, and just pent-up frustration with not being able to do what we want to do. Yeah. And so people are like, 2021 Christmas, Hanukkah is the time where I can kind of pretend things are going back to normal and want to do what I want to do.
And I'm going to do that by getting more and more and more stuff.
Prices are rising, so you're going to probably spend more on things, but at the same time, you have to buy for the holidays. You wonder if prices will continue to go up even more. So people might be using this opportunity to buy more of their stuff that they want later on.
Yes.
In hopes that they catch it now before prices go up further in 2022.
Right.
That's what inflation brings, like this need, this urgency to spend now.
So not only do we need to be buying just because it's our first semi-normal holiday since COVID hit, it's also that if we don't buy everything now, it's only gonna get worse.
It's only gonna get worse. Although there's a big debate here about whether the inflation that we're seeing is temporary or permanent. In the beginning, all these different policymakers, President Biden, Jay Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, all said it was temporary, it's transitory. But you're seeing that they're no longer using that word because it's not clear. I mean, COVID's gonna be with us for a long time. The disruptions to the supply chain is gonna be with us for a long time. And so prices are going up. And companies, honestly, once they raise prices, it's unlikely they're gonna cut it.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Why would you go back?
You're gonna see the price increases are sticky, meaning they're gonna stick around for a while. So that's gonna be another issue.
I don't like what I'm hearing right now. And I feel like consumers won't like it either. We don't want things to get more expensive. We love to buy stuff.
We have not seen prices go up in this kind of way in decades.
What is it looking like compared to how our spending power used to look like?
We saved a lot of money during the pandemic, so people have a lot more disposable income. In fact, if you look at the savings rate, it spiked during the pandemic. Obviously, government stimulus checks helped because it provided a cushion, but now that we're kind of reopening the economy again and people feel more comfortable, that is coming down again.
Spend, spend, spend.
Spend, spend, spend. At the same time, consumer spending, household spending drives this U.S. economy. It makes up 68, 69% of our economy.
Wow.
That's compared to 62%, 61% in the early 1960s. In the 1980s and 1990s, that line pretty much goes straight up. It's like when we really perfected our ability to spend and support the economy.
And what is it about the U.S. that makes us such spenders?
We are very much an economy that's driven by support businesses and make sure that there's enough jobs. And our economy is built around you and me buying things. So if we don't buy enough things, if prices go down and we don't want to buy things, then companies will notice and they'll produce less stuff. And then if they produce less stuff, then they don't need as many workers. They're going to start firing workers. The economy slows down.
So if that's the cycle and if COVID's sticking around, that tells me this isn't temporary. There's someone from the opinion team who's done a lot of reporting on this who I feel like would be good for us to talk to.
They can give us a different perspective.
But first, ever wonder what happens to all those items you return online? We'll visit a new store giving unused stuff a second life.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's shop.
So Scarlett, this is what you called the ground zero of American overconsumption.
I feel like this comes full circle. We buy too much stuff online because it's easy to do it, then we return it, and it ends up in a place like Binger's Bargain Bins.
And I can't wait to see what's in these bins.
Battle Face is ready.
Let's do it.
Rob, so exciting for you to have us here. Can you explain what we're looking at here?
What you are seeing here is what I called a gold mine. Okay, this is returns, unused products, something that was probably in demand, highly on TikTok, and then now no one wants it anymore. Whatever has left larger retail, it comes here.
I definitely over-order from online retailers, but how does that get from my return to this location?
We have relationships with restockers or resellers, and so before it gets to a landfill, it'll actually their warehouse it, and then we will actually purchase it from them.
You grab it before it gets to the
Before it
landfill.
gets to the landfill.
So you have different rates for different days? How does that work?
Today is Friday, $10.99. Tomorrow, Saturday, we go down to $8.49. Sunday, $6.49. Monday, $3.49. And then Tuesday, 2 items for $2.99.
Oh. So wait, that's when everything gets cleared out completely?
Yes.
So Friday, this is all brand new stuff.
Brand new. The treasure is getting into it and digging.
I mean, this is stuff you can use.
There's clothes too, my God. If there is inflation out there, does it affect how you guys do anything over here?
Whatever goes on outside, our prices will stay the same. If you constantly deliver consistency to customers, they're gonna come back. That's why they're here every week.
How many items does each person tend to buy?
At least 30 items.
30?
Yes.
Are these families or are these people who are gonna resell these items?
Some are resellers, but mainly the families are in here. Everyone has a phone out and they're, okay, this is worth this is worth that. The smart consumers really are here.
I do feel like the key is the boxes. If you unbox, you're gonna find something really good.
Yeah, what if you only wanna go for boxes?
Yeah.
Mystery boxes.
All right, I gotta see this mystery
Let's
box.
go to a mystery box,
Okay.
come on.
So the key here in these mystery boxes is it delivers value. You can get a really good deal, even though you don't know exactly what's in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ring light, home theater, portable LED projector. Nice.
Makeup.
Makeup.
This is a good box.
Do you ever get the sense that you're contributing to overconsumption?
Places like this, I think, are wonderful because it's given all of this product a second life that would have ended up in a landfill, and it's given consumers a place to get a really good value.
How do you see yourself as different from TJ Maxx or Marshalls?
If you don't like it at $8.49, come in the next day. On Tuesday, when it's $2.99 and you're getting something that's worth $40, you're paying what you want, not what we're demanding from you.
That doesn't happen at TJ Maxx.
That doesn't happen anywhere.
Everyone wants a deal, so can you show me something where I'd be blown away by what a great deal I'm getting?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fitness watch here.
Looks good.
Big still. We have hair clippers.
Ooh, that looks like a good set.
And for the gamers, gaming headset.
Ooh, my son would like that. And this is all available for $10.99 today.
Yes.
I think we should put ourselves to the test.
All right, so let's do it. How much do we think this is?
$150.
I'm gonna say 300.
Actual retail value is $245.
Ooh.
Yes.
And you can get that for $10.
$10.99.
Oh my God.
I feel like if we go and dig some more, we're gonna find some more of our own.
Let's do some more
All right.
digging.
This is so cozy.
I like this chair.
Yeah, that's cute.
Look, 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 makeup. Oh my God, there's so much selection.
What's your tip for finding the most expensive item?
People come on this day because they know the best of the best is out on a Friday.
How many iPhones are gonna actually show up in one of these bins?
You'll be surprised.
Really? And you saw them coming in?
Put them in the bin.
You put them in the Okay, mission accomplished. We didn't need a trolley. We managed to haul it all in our hands.
I got body bumpers.
I got masks for all of us on the team for when we hold up the Royal Mint.
Incredible. Let's load this stuff up.
All this loot. So Allison, we were talking earlier about how this holiday season, we're dealing with a couple of issues when it comes to shopping. You've got supply chain issues, of course, and you've got inflation as well. And you came up with this proposal, which probably got some people worked up.
You could say that.
What did you suggest?
Well, as I said, it's a provocative way of putting the advice is that maybe we should shop more like Europeans. Rather than buying a lot of stuff in bulk that's low quality, that we buy fewer things that are higher quality less frequently. So we consume a lot more than we used to. Our consumption per capita has increased like 65% since the 80s.
Wow.
And we're just buying a lot more stuff that's low quality.
So when you see a chart of our consumption as a percentage of GDP, it's gone pretty much straight up, especially during the 80s and 90s. What was happening during that time to enable that?
A lot more trade, particularly a lot more trade with countries with cheaper labor, like Mexico and China, which meant that we got a lot of goods for a much lower price. And also there were technologies like Amazon, that there's deflationary pressure from that because you can compare prices across a lot of goods. See, and remember in the 80s, you'd have to drive to a store or whatever you got the price was, you kind of accepted it. Now on Amazon, you can price compare and that puts more pricing pressure on. And you get it very easily delivered to you. So all these things made consumption a lot faster and a lot cheaper.
But I also want to take a step back because if we are to follow the European model, that's going to take a lot of psychological work to shoppers like me who this is our lifestyle. So what do we do to convince ourselves to get on board with less for more quality?
Well, buy things you really love. You know, I said fewer things.
There's some hesitation there as Maddie swallowed.
It's just hard because, like, you know, the latest thing that's trending on TikTok to wear out changes every day. And instead of affording the...
But do you really love it 48 hours later?
No.
Yeah, so buy something you truly love and you will love forever and you'll wear until it dies.
Right, right. Things that have staying power.
I have a lot of things that don't have staying power inside my house. I have a graveyard of humidifiers. And I only bring that up because it wasn't very expensive. You know, you talk about low quality goods. These are $20 humidifiers that once I realized I had to clean them, I decided it was too much work, I'll just get a new one. So they're just kind of lined up in my house. Yeah. Same thing with bags. I have a lot of purses where I wore them for like a year and then I decided, okay, time for a new one. And they just kind of all hang off of my bedpost.
Well, it's like these shoes that I bought for $10 on Shein because I thought for 1 second that I was gonna wanna wear heels at work, which I will never do. I'll always wear sneakers at work. But, you know, now what am I gonna do with these? I feel guilty about giving them away or ditching them, but so then they just sit in my closet or under my desk, compiling dust and making me feel like an overconsumer.
Yeah, but how would you have felt if you spent more on shoes you loved and were comfortable?
Really happy. I mean, when you say it like that, sure, but you know.
I mean, maybe you spent more and maybe you only bought 2 or 3 shoes this year.
Right. Well, it's also the digitization of all of this. Yeah. It's so easy to buy now because I just give my phone my Face ID and suddenly my credit card is charged.
And that satisfaction you get, that instant gratification you get from knowing that you bought it.
Instant dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really sustainable. 1, for your happiness,
yeah.
And 2, even for our economy. Because I mean, maybe you would have enjoyed more going to a nice store, trying on a bunch of shoes, picking the one that was really comfortable. Again, maybe it ruled out buying like 5, 10 pairs of shoes, but you had that wonderful shopping experience and you have a pair of shoes that you actually wear.
Right, right. I mean, I like the sound of having this enjoyable experience. I just don't know what I'm gonna do without all of this excess clothing.
I mean, I think about TVs, they've gotten cheaper as the years go by. Every Black Friday, you can get a bigger one, better quality, and the price keeps coming down. Chromebooks make it accessible for everyone because for less than $100, each kid can actually have like a PC.
But I don't think we even appreciate how miraculous these goods are. I mean, those flat screen TVs are a lot nicer than those ones in the 80s people had to save up for. Even a Chromebook. Think about what that can do compared to a Mac that costs so much more relative to your household income in the 80s.
Yeah, well, it also reminds me of like Alibaba. You can access the Chinese supply chain directly and get as much clothing or
you can buy 20 of those Shein shoes
for $1.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so cheap.
You just have to figure out where to put them.
Exactly. Well, it reminds me, speaking of that, of the stat from your story that you only wear each garment 7 times. Is that right? Which feels honestly like so shocking to me. I'm gonna think about that every time I'm in a fitting room now. Will I wear this 7 times? And if I can't hit the average, then I'm not gonna buy it.
Do you think with inflation right now, the way it is, with prices rising, and we don't know whether it's permanent or temporary, but we haven't seen prices rise like this in a couple of years, a couple of decades, that people will be more attuned to saving to buy the right thing, or will they just buy now for fear that if they don't buy it now, it's going to keep growing in price.
Well, that's how inflation becomes permanent, right? Is people rush out to buy more because they're worried prices are going to go up.
So it's self-fulfilling.
It becomes self-fulfilling. I mean, this is the danger. This is why I never really quite understood the transitory distinction, because any inflation all inflation starts as transitory.
Right.
But whether or not it takes hold and becomes permanent depends on how much it factors in people's expectations.
Allison, this is so interesting. Thank you so much for kind of sharing your thoughts on this, because it's something that people think about a lot, but they don't always say out loud.
We always feel guilty about this deep down, and you're actually giving us the advice for how to tackle it. Snack?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we just returned from our American consumption tour. What is your biggest takeaway, Scar, after our experience?
There's a big gap between what we want and what we need. So the pandemic has made really clear that we can't always get what we want when we want it and at the price we want, right?
Yes.
Because prices have been increasing.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of rethink what we want versus what we need. And I kind of liked how it was before the pandemic came along and ruined everything, where you could go out on experience and spend your time and your money on doing something as opposed to acquiring something physical.
Right, that's gonna hurt the environment and cause all these backlogs of issues with the supply chain.
That you don't really want anyway, and after 2 days or 5 days, you're looking at it, you're like, it takes up a lot of space.
And that's my biggest takeaway, is to be much more intentional about my shopping, because I tend to buy in bulk and just think, oh, I'll return it. But then I was looking this up because I figured I'm not alone after we were at Bingers, and there were so many return items there. 3.5 billion products are returned every year in the US. 5 billion pounds of returns end up in landfills.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a lot of waste when you're buying with returning in mind as your plan of action, which is kind of what I always do.
And just a small, tiny sliver of that ends up in a place like Binge or Bargain Bins.
Yeah.
So that gets kind of recycled into the economy, but everything else is just left for dead.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess, again, it's like be deliberate, right?
Be deliberate, and maybe technology can help solve some of our problems, right? Because the Amazon Buy Now button made it so easy for us to get things, but now with NFTs and with digital virtual goods and the metaverse, maybe we spend our money on virtual things as opposed to physical things.
Yeah.
Like you said, more deliberate. I like that.
Yeah.
I will give the gift of my attention to you or to anyone else.
Yes. We'll give each other the gift of our mutual attention.
There we go. Happy holidays, everyone.